Now, with all this rain that we've been seeing, I actually found this experiment from the University of Reading in the UK talking about how wet grass can absorb water faster than dry grass. It takes a little bit longer when you're seeing things like heat wave and drought, and we really dry out the ground. Now, this experiment has a couple plot holes in terms of how it was executed with air bubbles and things like that, but it still begs the general question, why do we see conditions like this? So let's talk about it. You can switch over to our graphics here. So talking about the wet ground first, we normally see our topsoil. It's organic matter, things like fungi, dead organisms, or even manure if you're doing that to your lawns. And that topsoil can hold 90% of its weight in water. So usually that water gets soaked up very quickly when we have a wet ground, or at least ground that has seen rain somewhat recently. But if that topsoil dries out, it gets waxy and becomes hydrophobic. That means it repels water. It's kind of like your skin on a hot day. If you're sweating too much, you're close to a heat stroke, your skin gets clammy. It doesn't take in moisture anymore. And the microorganisms that will break down that wax, they move slower because they also are dried out. Now, of course, soils are more likely to do this, so things like pastures and plains and even farms, which is why we see this problem affect our agriculture so much. But there's such a thing as too much rain. So, of course, we've been seeing these drought monitors with this monitor drought spreading through down into the valley and along our river valleys. And for that reason, these drier areas have not seen rain in a very long time, but we have gotten quite a lot of it, upwards of 5 inches in many places here in the valley. It's where we needed the rain, but it's too much too quickly. And so once we get that rain too quickly, because that ground is too dry, we get effects like flooding potential that we've been seeing this entire time, and we get a lot of runoff that's coming off the mountains, heading into the river valleys, and continue to either flood the rivers and streams that we already have, or even create new ones, because water is going to follow the path of least resistance. So best way to avoid this, especially if you have plants or some agriculture, make sure you're just keeping your plants watered even in times like these, slowly and little by little, so that your plants don't dry out, and the next time we do get a heavy rain, they are prepared to soak it in. But that's enough for your Weather Wednesday this time. I'll wrap things up and send things back over to you, John.
Tavian, thanks so much. And if you have a Weather Wednesday question, please let us know. You can text us at 865-637-1010, and we'll work to answer all those questions in our Weather Wednesday segment.